So they have to get it in a tempo where their bigs can be a factor. We might see a little more high-low out of them because these are two matchups that are really challenging for Arizona's lack of size and lack of depth on the front line.
Home whites for the Ducks and the road reds for Arizona. The Cats trying to win in Eugene for the first time in 10 years after snapping a 10-game losing streak in the overall series last month. Both teams have not seen much floor time of late due to health and safety protocols. Only one game between these two programs in the last 2.5 weeks. And that was an Oregon win over UC Davis a couple days ago.
So Oregon,
here is McDonald up top.
Yep, and she's going to be a ball-dominant guard for them, Beth. She's going to have the ball in her hands. Here she comes off a ball screen on the elbow. She can go anywhere she wants off the bounce.
And the three-point bucket from Kate Reese, the 6'2 junior from Cypress, Texas, all Pac-12 performer last year.
And while Arizona spends a lot of time and takes a lot of pride, as you see the Oregon starting five, takes a lot of pride on their defense. They have gotten better at executing in the quarter court offensively, and I think that's what they need to do to continue to stay as an elite team in the Pac-12.
Niara Sabali, the sister of Satu Sabali, along with Sabrina Ionescu and Ruthie Hebert, the stars that have moved on to the WNBA. And another one to watch for them is their freshman point guard, Tahina Pau. And along with McDonald, we've already seen Reese hit the three. Sam Thomas is the senior leader of this group.
So what you've seen early against Oregon in their offense is this is an Oregon team that likes to play off the pass. They're very much a rhythm, catch and shoot, one or two dribbles, set up a shooter. Arizona in the first matchup ran them off the three-point line. They only got 11 three-point attempts. The first two possessions for Oregon, they have had to play off the bounce. That's the way Arizona wants them to have to play offensively.
They held Oregon to just 41 points, the fewest for a Duck team in 4 years when they beat them on January 14th. This is the Wildcats game. They take it from you, and they convert it the other end.
Sam Thomas, one of those upperclassmen who does a good job right here. Off the bounce, picks Aaron Bowley clean, and then transitions quickly up the other end to score.
In the first meeting, they had 14 steals. They ended up scoring 26 points off of 23 turnovers. So you've got the quick guards against the size advantage of Oregon going head-to-head, and early on, it's Cats 6-zip.
And when they can score, they can get into their full court pressure, can Arizona. And look, they're doubling ball screens. They're going to continue to mix up what they do. And staying on the glass will be important for them. They're -2 in Pac-12 play on the glass is Arizona.
Oh, pretty feed, and Kate Reese with the finish. Kelly Graves has to burn the timeout. An 8-0 start for Arizona.
Off their D, up the floor. Good feed to Kate Reese, who finishes in transition.
Hot start for Arizona against a lot of new for the Oregon Ducks, Debbie. First-year players, almost 70% of the minutes, over 70% of their scoring in this new campaign. They're hitting the glass, and they are assisting over 70% of their baskets. Without Ionescu, Sabali, or Hebert, all gone to the WNBA. An opportunity, Debbie, for others to step in and step up.
When we talked to Sam Thomas today, one of the things she said is, you know, we've never won here on the road. And she said, at least we're not playing against the WNBA tonight, because that's what they were doing last year.
Kelly Graves bringing in the #1 ranked recruiting class in the country. And they've got a couple of freshmen with extensive minutes, and they'll have an and one opportunity right here.
Yeah, I like the ATO after timeout by Kelly Graves. You know they're overplaying. You know they're in your grill. Put the ball on the floor and go hard to the basket. Go on a straight line drive. Put some pressure back on the defense.
that could be big, too, for Taylor Meixel, who's known for her three-point shooting, but she's been struggling from downtown, so there she puts it on the deck and gets to the bucket.
Well, this is the 4th game in a row she's come off the bench, but in the previous 3, she's 3 for 19 outside the arc, and that's what she does well, so maybe she'll open up some space by being able to put it on the floor.
Kate Reese knocks down another one. How about the 4 for 4 start for Arizona tonight? Sedona Prince able to convert. A huge recruit coming out of high school. Started out her career at Texas, injury plagued, and actually missed a handful of games to start out this season. Now her first with the Ducks. But could be, if she can stay healthy, one of the biggest additions for anybody in the country.
I mean, look at 6'5", rebounding and quickly getting them up the floor by Sabally. But that high-low game is where they need to go. Keep the ball in the middle of the floor. See, back-to-back buckets in the paint for Oregon, taking advantage of their size inside.
She, too, is coming back from injuries. Missed out on the opportunity to be out on the floor with her sister, Satu.
Of course, they would have been, Beth.
Yep, they would have been one of the favorites to win the national championship last year before the pandemic hit. Baseline and the bucket. 5 of 6 to start out the game for the Cats.
I mean, is Erin Boley just going to let her dribble into the paint and score? I mean, you got to be a little more physical there defensively and hold your ground.
Meixel for 3. Around and out. Held ball here. Possession arrow will give it to Arizona.
You just scored 2 buckets in the paint with 6'5" and 6'7". I think you keep going to that and make Arizona have to defend it.
Floater short. Shot there bothered by Prince, but another opportunity for the Cats. We're going to be moving this one over to ESPN2. Hope you'll come with us. Welcome to Matthew Knight Arena in Eugene, Oregon. Underway, number 10 Arizona and number 11 Oregon. Cats are looking for the season sweep of the Ducks and looking for their first win in Eugene in 10 years. They are tied for first place in the loss column with Stanford in the Pac-12. Oregon with UCLA a game back in the loss column in what should be a terrific race down the stretch. Beth Mullins along with Debbie Antonelli on the call. All-American Ari McDonald tried to float that one up and in, won't go.
Shot selection important here so you don't allow Oregon to get some easy ones. There's defense again. That's been the story early for Arizona. Their defense has allowed them to get some easy buckets.
First basket for Ari after she missed on 3 shots. 70% shooting as a team here in the first quarter for the Cats. Position inside Boley. And the rebound of Trinity Baptiste.
Really good box out by Kate Reese on Sedona Prince.
Open look from Sam Thomas won't go. Rebound Elena Cuello.
See, now Oregon is in a man-to-man, so here's where Ari McDonald can go to work on this matchup with Meixel.
She does just that. Can't knock it down. And Reese was on the end line. It'll go to Oregon.
We know Ari McDonald is a volume shooter. She's going to take shots. She's going to get in the paint. She's got floaters, runners. She's got a whole bag of tricks. And you know, I like Adia Barnes giving her a chance to take a break right here. Let her think about the pace of play a little bit.
Back-to-back 20-win seasons for Barnes, who is still in the Arizona record books, the all-time leading scorer in school history. Trying to guide them to their first Pac-12 championship since 2004. On the run, re-spilling a lane. Sabali blocked it, and the good follow-up by Lauren Ware, the 6'3 freshman from Bismarck.
Again, that cross-court pass, too long, too flat. When you're playing against a team that overplays, is either on the line or up the line defensively.
They are able to get into the lane so far too, Debbie. 12 of their 18 points in the paint.
That's right there what Oregon needs to do. When we talked to Kelly Graves yesterday, we asked him, when was Prince and Sabali going to decide to dominate in Pac-12 play? And he said, you know what? He just had that conversation with him. It looks like it's paid off.
Sabali with the good defense. Let's check her out on the other end.
I mean, she's 6'5". We've already seen her rebound and handle up to the floor. She gets the isolation one-on-one. You can't help off the shooters with Oregon. And because Oregon keeps their weak side busy and they move off the pass into the post, you can't dig in or help. That gives her the one-on-one. And she can overpower any defender on that front line for Arizona.
Full court pressure from the Cats.
You can keep the full court pressure on, but when it's not Aari McDonald in your grill, I think you have no problem bringing the ball up the floor. Now, when she's on you, give it up and let somebody else, let the secondary ball handler take care of business.
This is Shayna Pellington, the Canadian, transferred from Oregon. And the kick out, Baptiste.
Trinity Baptiste, known as a really good offensive rebounder, a good scorer in the paint at Virginia Tech last year. Didn't shoot the three very often. She's added a little bit of that to her game out west.
She's hit her first 3 shots to give them a 10-point lead, and now Boley will chip away at that. They tried the backboard. Baptiste couldn't clean it up. Snared by Angela Duvalich, one of their freshmen. Here's Pow Pow.
They trap her off that ball screen, and that's what they're doing defensively. Sometimes we'll see the hedge, but to start the game, we've seen a couple of traps off that ball screen. Pow Pow capable of playing off the drag, then she gets into that ball screen. That's one of the things that Kelly Graves says he's working on all the time with her, trying to get her to understand, to see, to read, see where the help comes from. Of course, he knows how to coach point guards, Beth. I mean, he's had a couple of great ones in the history of our game, and Sabrina Ionescu and Courtney Vandersloot in his days at Gonzaga.
Pow Pow with the nice take to the bucket. Of course, the Ducks were at the Final Four a couple of years ago. Their 3 consecutive Pac-12 regular season crowns. Stanford's trying to grab it back this year for the first time since 2014. On the run, and the nice finish. Lydia Giomi, the 6'6 senior.
Anytime a big runs rim to rim and they get ahead of the ball and you're a guard, you better throw it to them. And making sure that you know they can catch it and finish it.
6 unanswered. They've taken advantage of Aari McDonald being out of the lineup. She's back in. And here she is. Have to hustle that up to try and beat the shot clock buzzer, and did not hit iron. So Oregon's defense has cranked it up a notch. 10 seconds left in the quarter. Pow Pow gives it up inside. Good if it goes. And the Ducks execute well down the stretch. And what was a 10-point deficit
against Tennessee in Rupp Arena and lost. In Arkansas, Eric Musselman's got 5 guys in double figures. And if you haven't seen them, they're very good. And they are one of 4 teams in the SEC right now that sit at 6-4. Great race in that league on the men's side.
Oregon closed out the first quarter with an 8-0 run to make it a 2-point game. The other big showdown tonight, South Carolina leading UConn 14-10 at the end of the first. Lydia Giomi able to kick it
Look how
back
disruptive, Beth. They trap the ball screen. They force you to put it on the deck. Make plays with your feet. That's what Arizona's defense wants to do. And when you play a team like Arizona,
grab it back.
When you play a team like Arizona, you got to have your pressure package in. You got to have good offensive habits about how to beat pressure.
Nice cut to the bucket.
Backdoor cuts is one of them.
Pow ties it up. This is Ari McDonald, who started out 1 for 6 in that first quarter. Finds Reese back out on the perimeter and splashes the 3, her second of the day.
You know I love the bigs that can step out and knock down triples. Stretch the defense. Bring those bigs out of the paint. Create more space.
And the counter triple from Oregon.
You mentioned that #1 freshman class for Oregon. That's Parrish. She's one of those 5 players that comes in highly touted.
Top 10 recruit, Indiana's player of the year 2 times.
I think the zone has been the best defense for Oregon. When they've been able to score, they go back in their zone. Typically, they go in man when they miss.
Poor spacing on that possession for the Cats. And now Oregon, once down double digits, can take the lead.
They just go ISO 2-man game with Pow.
Couldn't knock it down. It's McDonald the other way. Pulls up off the cross. Misses again. Reese with her 3rd rebound.
And see, that's McDonald's game right there. Transition, mid-range, pull up, stick a jumper.
Second in the conference in scoring, second in steals, 3rd in assists. One of the terrific all-around performers, but she's off to the cold start so far. Yes, her mates are picking her up thus far on 9 of 15 shooting. All-American last year, as well as the Pac-12's Defensive Player of the Year. No active player in the country has more points than she does, over 2,000.
Another shot side.
Bothered by Parrish.
This is when you have the pressure package, Beth. The high post entries, the dribble entries, the backdoor cuts. The ball fakes, the shot fakes, those things so important. You have to have those good offensive habits against a pressure team like Arizona. Kelly Graves told us yesterday, they don't simulate that in practice well because they're not a pressure team. But they have been working on scoring on closeouts, pivoting, making sure that you do all those things and do them well and do them at a high level.
Kate Reese is the difference maker right now for Arizona, 12 points.
Mike Sell doing a really good job of stretching that trap.
Jan Shelley thought about the 3. Good ball movement, and it ends up with Sabali for the bucket.
It's just really good interior passing. See, now Oregon looks comfortable to me. They look much better prepared to handle the pressure than they did in the first game. You already mentioned they had 26 points off 23 turnovers.
Talked about finding their rhythm, Debbie, and working together. They've assisted on 8 of their 12 baskets. And another opportunity here to grab the lead.
See, that's not a good number for Arizona. They started out with that 8-0 run, and it was predicated on their defense. And when you play against a team like this, you have to play the game low to high. You can't be standing outside with the ball over your head.
Shelley has it blocked. Oh, pretty feed to Reese from Maramote. Made the defensive play at one end and a pretty pass at the other.
What a first half for Kate Reese. 14 points in 12 minutes. Good transition. Looks like she's in a crowd, but she knew that Reese was open on the other side. Nice job.
That was Puello with the pass.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Pueyo's game. I mean, she can score off the bounce. She's got tremendous three-point range.
Member of the Spanish junior national team.
Good job by Sam Thomas to lock and trail on Sydney Parrish coming off that screen, down screen.
Reese feeling confident right now. Sabali almost knocked it loose, and here come the Ducks. Mikesell goes to the left, short. Prince able to keep it alive, rattled around and out. Two gimmies missed by Oregon. Parrish rebounds the miss. Under 4.5 to go, 2-point game. Arizona tied in the loss column with Stanford atop the Pac-12 standings, with Oregon a game behind, and UCLA right there with them. Sabali to the line. It looks like when we come back, Ducks down 2 at home.
My windshield just got broken. I feel like I need to blow off some steam. Let's go.
Mr. Blanks, there's no need to be stressed. Geico makes it easy to file a claim online or over the phone.
That makes me want to celebrate with some fireworks. 5, 6, 7, go. Boom, 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 boom.
Looking forward to halftime. Thank you very much, gang. Of course, South Carolina moving to #1 in the polls. UConn right behind them, so that could change again, depending on the results tonight. So that last foul was changed to intentional, Debbie, on the drive, so they're going to get 2 free throws.
Yeah, it's an intentional foul, and any player can shoot the free throws. You see, there's an attempt made on the ball, but it's aggressive, or excessive, I should say, and unnecessary. So Taylor Mikesell knocks down a couple of triples, or a couple of free throws, and that counts as a team foul and a personal foul as well. So the ball will be going back to Oregon at the division line.
And instead of a 55% free throw shooter, you get a 100% free throw shooter.
That's why the penalty is so severe for that kind of play. So it's a safety issue, and I don't have any problem with it.
Yeah, 16 of 16 on the season. I'd say that's pretty good. And now, not sure what the holdup is. Looks like we're ready to go. Just 4 fouls total in this first half for both sides.
Arizona changed their ball screen defense coming out of the timeout. They didn't trap that ball screen on that lane line.
Sedona Prince way out front. Powell looking for a lane, finds one, couldn't knock it down.
You think you see a lane against the Arizona defense, and they collapse so well. They do a good job of helping in the gaps. Good help and recover defensive team.
McDonald gets to the right side, high off the window, and Aries struggles offensively continue.
You know, and I like that Adia Barnes is trying to get her going, though. I mean, she comes off the timeout and runs a play for her. And Aries likes to go left, and Oregon has done a good job of taking that away.
Kick out. Both sides have cooled considerably. Baptiste has that one blocked out by Sabali.
Sabali is really active at 6'5". She moves her feet well. She gets up and down the floor. We've already seen her dribble bust up the court off a rebound to get into their transition game. I think Oregon's one of those teams, Beth, like a NC State, like a UConn, like an Iowa State. They do such a good job of throwing that skip pass in transition.
reach-in foul called here on Prince.
Well, charge back. Her first foul of the game. First team on the quarter on Oregon.
Kate Reese is having a great first half. I mean, she's scoring. That time she ducks in against a taller defender and makes great contact in front of the rim.
Now 14 points, 5 rebounds. And the takeaway for Oregon. Oh, Rebecca Lobo referenced it coming out of that last timeout. They have done such a better job taking care of the basketball from the first time these two met last month in an Arizona win.
Yeah, and according to her hoop stats, Beth, as Ari McDonald finally hits a long jumper. Is that a 3? Or a long 2? Anyway, according to her hoop stats, they are top 5%. Arizona is in Division I steal rate, which means about 13% of the opponent's possessions they get a steal off of. That's all like 1 out of 10 possessions. That's very good.
They did give the 3 to McDonald, and Prince scores inside for Oregon.
Sometimes the two lines are challenging, but watching these players on this Zoom with that court is challenging as well.
Matthew Knight Arena, where you're in the woods, on the court. That is the 8th Arizona turnover, so they are -5 in the first half. Very uncharacteristic.
That high-low game.
Prince inside. There's the advantage. Missed it, stepping away.
I mean, Sam Thomas is battling inside. Sedona Prince is 6'7". Thomas is 6 feet. And she did a good job of pushing Prince out of the lane.
Baptiste hits. She's got 9.
Well, if you're a Dia Barnes,
is 14 to lead Arizona.
You got to feel good that Ari McDonald hasn't been able to get going yet, Beth. You know, and the others are making plays.
8 for Sabali to lead the way for Oregon.
And we had a great conversation with Ari and Sam Thomas and Kate Reese this afternoon about their team, about their success, about what it felt like to come into this arena knowing they have never won here.
They're looking up Island right now. They've hit just 1 of their last 11 shots. Eddie?
I think they got to go back to moving the ball. You know, this is a team that gets in rhythm offensively by moving the ball, and when Arizona makes them put it on the floor, makes them move their feet, you haven't seen a lot of catch and shoot out of Oregon tonight.
Foley can't knock it down, and it will stay with Oregon.
Well, here's a chance for a 2-for-1. If they execute very quickly and score on this out-of-bounds play, they're going to get the ball back.
And the game clock will scoot under 30 seconds now to go in this first half. Weitzel leaves it off for Sabali. A little 2-man game for the bucket. Shot clock is now off.
Well, they dropped their ball screen coverage right there. Instead of trapping, like I said, they made that adjustment, and Oregon has recognized it. Now I just clear it out for Ari McDonald, or instead Oregon's going to use one of their fouls because they only have, is that 2 team fouls in the quarter?
Just 3. That's their 3rd. Yeah, I mean, it's been clean from both sides. Excuse me, 3 overall, 2 in the quarter. You're correct, Debbie. Yep.
Zoned by Oregon.
And another foul called with 4.2 to go. Ducks doesn't have the pick.
Is that foul on Pow Pow? Because that's 2. That's her third. So Kelly Graves rolls the dice, fouls, right, with Pow Pow. Now she picks up a third.
And they needed somebody else to foul there. Pow Pow's going to have to come out.
Well, I think they wanted to foul the first time. I don't think they meant to foul that time. Certainly not Pow Pow.
No, that could be costly for Oregon. McDonald trying to beat the buzzer.
I don't like that shot at all at the end of that.
No. 1 point Arizona lead at the half over Oregon. 33-32 tonight in Eugene. Let's get you back to the studio now.
With time, she's running the floor, she's making herself available, and she is knocking down 14 first half points on 6 of 9 shooting for Arizona.
For the Ducks, the Bigs, 14 points. They had 26 in the paint, did Oregon. And Arizona will open up the scoring in this third quarter. One of the big developments was just in the final seconds of that first half when Tahina Pow Pow picked up her third personal foul. The freshman starting point guard for Oregon. They had taken such good care of the basketball, only 3 turnovers in that first half. Let's see if that can be a difference in the second half. For an Arizona team that loves to put pressure on the ball. Yanni will bring it across midcourt.
You got to pick up the tempo on the road defensively, which means they got to continue to try to turn Arizona. Arizona got to turn Oregon over. They only turned them over 3 times and scored 4 points on those 3 turnovers. That's their game.
Oh,
and
boy,
they've got to find a way to get Airy going.
They tried to get it to McDonald to try and pick up a quick foul on Pow Pow, and she knocked it loose. Here's Tahina, top 20 recruit and the California Player of the Year last year, a member of their #1 ranked nationally recruiting class, as Prince scores down on the baseline.
I thought that was pretty good defense, just better offense. A 6'7" player turning and scoring over a smaller defender. Boy, Kate Reese is saying, you better come out and guard me out here beyond the arc. That's 3 for 3 outside the 3-point line.
She's got 19. Her season high is 25. Look at that post Savali.
Beth, remember
we took possessions. They get the ball inside, Debbie.
We started talking at the beginning of the game about punishing Arizona with their frontline play, and it looks like they're trying to do that right now. They had a stretch in the first half where they went inside in their high-low game a couple of times, then they got away from it. Now they're starting the second half going right back to the paint.
Jazz Shelley. And Arizona will come away with it. And the defense able to force the turnover there. McDonald weaving, fading, and gets it to go.
Nice. Spread out, middle pick and roll in the middle third. She snakes behind that ball screen and comes up with a nice mid-range jump shot in the middle of the paint.
Savali drops it off for Prince. Collision and an offensive foul. Got Sam Thomas there to take the charge.
Well, Sam Thomas bails out Trinity Baptiste. She overplays that pass to the high post to Savali, and Savali not on balance, not playing the game low to high, just plows right into Sam Thomas.
That is her first, and now a technical foul on Oregon coach Kelly Graves.
Taking the foul on the Oregon bench, Sam Thomas shooting the free throws.
So Sam Thomas looks like is going to shoot the free throws the other way. This was a charge, so it wouldn't have been a shooting foul at the other end. So the free throws for the Tech, and then the possession.
I thought Sam Thomas was there. I'm not sure what he was arguing about. It must be something else. We're speculating because we're not there.
So Arizona, which enjoyed a 10-point lead in the first half and then lost it. Another chance here to get it back up into double digits quickly in this third quarter. McDonald. Tough shot, and then knocked out of bounds by the Cats.
There's not much space there. She doesn't need a lot of time and space to be able to get to the rim, but I think because the sagging man is causing some gap issue for Aerie, she's having a lot of trouble getting any vision to the rim. I think Oregon's done a really nice job on her, forcing her to take some tough shots.
Now she's just 3 of 12. Remember, she has enjoyed tremendous success over the course of her career against Oregon. They've met in the last 2 Pac-12 tournaments. The Ducks knocked the Cats out, but on both occasions, McDonald scored 34 points.
I mean, that's Savely running side by side with her, forcing her away from the paint. That was a really good job by Savely. See, look where Erin Boley is guarding Bendu. She's not even close. She's not within 10 feet. She's in the paint trying to deter Aerie McDonald from going inside.
And the Duck defense forces the shot clock violation.
Watch Savely right here. She's running exactly at the same speed up the floor, and her angle takes Aerie McDonald away from the paint. Doesn't give her a chance for a transition opportunity. Allows Oregon to set their D. That's tremendous at 6'5" to chase down Aerie McDonald.
One of the quickest in the country. And here is Savely with a tough catch. And one.
Power through the contact. Savely does a great job, holds her footwork, plays the game low to high, uses her pivot to create some space. I mean, look at Baptiste. She's all up in her stuff. She's even trying to make her play through her chest, and Savely is still able to handle contact and get to the free throw line.
It's into double digits, 13 points now for Niara, the only double-figure scorer thus far for the Ducks. McDonald with a couple of bigs on her. And finds the open shooter. Sam Thomas hits for 3.
So you just have the secondary ball handler bring the ball up the floor when Aerie McDonald is, on the court. You don't make your point guard have to handle against her pressure full court. You make Mike Sell have to make a decision with the ball. And she makes a good one.
First foul on Sam Thomas.
Those dribble entries, right, Beth? I mean, you can't make the entry pass. They're all over you. You can't see. They're playing up the line. They're denying one pass away. It's a good decision by Mike Sell to take it to the rim.
Our college basketball lineup on Saturday at noon Eastern on ESPN features a good one on the men's side, Indiana and the Ohio State University. I think Billy Brackets has just bumped them up to the #1 seed line as of today.
I think that's a good call.
Kate Reese with 19 and the foul inside. 6-point game in Eugene, under 5 to go here in the third.
This is about as good as it gets.
Did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more? So what are you waiting for? Hip Hop Group Tag Team to help you plan dessert?
Fresh vanilla, rocky road, chocolate, peanut butter cookie dough, scoop,
Geico. See all the ways you could save.
Still to come tonight over on ESPN, Oklahoma State and projected #1 pick in the NBA draft, Cade Cunningham, to take on Kansas tonight. as the Jayhawks have fallen out of the top 25 for the first time in a dozen years.
They've lost 5 of 7. Yeah, and Cade Cunningham had 15 points in the first matchup against Kansas in a win for Oklahoma State. He's good. He's worth sticking around to watch.
Yeah. We got a good one from the Pac-12 tonight. More to come next Monday. It will be Stanford at Oregon. And then in 2 Mondays, could come down to the Pac-12 championships, Stanford and Arizona. On the next couple of Monday nights. Hard to believe we're 3 weeks out for the regular season. Conference championship games, some of them still scheduled to go off on March 7th. If that's the case, you could still have a 2-week window, you know, knock on wood, if anything were to happen with the health and safety protocols, to get yourself cleared for the NCAA tournament. But still up in the air, Debbie, as to what a lot of these conferences' plans are for their championship weeks.
Look at that explosive move by Sabali. But yes, Beth, by moving the NCAA tournament dates back a few days to start the tournament in San Antonio, I think that may have protected some of the conference tournaments. We'll see what they decide to do. It's a mixed bag out there with the coaches on whether they should or shouldn't have conference tournaments.
Of course, this year, the entire women's tournament will be moving to Texas, with the Sweet 16, Elite 8, and Final Four all to be played at the Alamo Dome. Going to set up a couple of courts in there.
All played at one site. We still don't know if we're going to have fans or not yet, but this is going to be great for the game. And that's all I'm going to say about that, except for we got an S-curve, and I can't be more excited about it for our players and coaches who have earned the right to be on an S-curve. They are good enough. The product is good enough. We should be on an S-curve without geography factoring into our game.
It's getting to be about that time of year where we start complaining. Used to be about the RPI, now it's going to be about the net. UConn is #1 in the net, actually, as we go to air tonight.
I mean, how can UConn be #1 in the net?
I'm not sure. They could be if they win tonight. That would be their best win by far of the season. They've got a 2-point lead right now over South Carolina in that 1 versus 2 matchup.
I mean, right now UConn has a win over DePaul, a loss on the road to Arkansas, and tonight's game will weigh very heavily in. I'm sure there's still going to be a 1 or a 2, but I don't get the net.
Charlie Kareem's bracketology today has, in this order, 1 through 4, South Carolina, Louisville, UConn, and NC State. He thinks if Oregon beats Arizona tonight, they could move from a 4 to a 3. The Wildcats right now on that 3 line. Of course, you don't have to worry this year about getting a top 16 seed to be a host. The whole thing's going to Texas. In San Antonio, the latest bracketology has 5 Pac-12 teams getting in. Washington State would be a fabulous story if the Cougs can go.
I mean, Cammie Etheridge has done a phenomenal job, and they haven't been to the NCAA tournament since 1991. And Oregon's 2 best wins, honestly, are against Washington State. I think they're a tournament team. If you haven't seen them play, Tara Vanderveer warned us about them at the beginning of the season. She was absolutely right.
Yeah. Charlize Ledger-Walker, one of the front runners for Freshman of the Year honors. Arizona opening things up on the Ducks.
I think the sketchy website I bought this turtle from stole all my info.
Ooh, have you looked on the bright side?
Discover never holds you responsible for unauthorized purchases on your card. That's my turtle.
Fraud protection. Discover something brighter.
Well, there's another freshman that's making an impact, coming on strong here for the Huskies. Pace hit number 2, Debbie, but they could move up to number 1 with a win here tonight.
Well, they would move to 1 if they could win. Beckers has 14 on 15 shots, and Aaliyah Boston 3 for 6 with only 6 points and 6 rebounds. Now, why isn't she getting more shots against UConn? I don't know. I'm not watching it. I'll have to go back and watch and find out. There's a great
Harry
finish by
McDonald
Harry.
on the run, and they bump the lead up to 13 as they try and get the season sweep of the Ducks and stay on pace with Stanford atop the Pac-12 standings. What a job, by the way, the Cardinal have done with, of course, Cara Vanderveer moving to number 1 all-time wins past Pat Summitt earlier in the year. They just finally, Debbie, got home to Maples Pavilion this weekend after a 9-week, 12-city road trip. And they're trying to win the Pac-12 regular season for the first time in 7 years.
I mean, you come off the timeout if you're Kelly Graves. You know Arizona's going to ramp up the pressure. You bring the ball off the floor, and Dugalich, who is 2 for 16 on the season, takes a 3. I can't imagine that's the play that Coach Graves drew up. You know, they're still searching for their offensive identity. You know, they're a team that the last 5 years, they have been in the top 5 in the country in three-point percentage, and that's not the case this year. This is a different team. They're built differently because of their size. Like, that's not Taylor and Mike Sell's game, putting it on the floor and driving it into traffic.
That is Ari McDonald's game. Off the bounce, drawing the foul.
So if you don't have, I mean, obviously you don't have Sabrina Ionescu or Ruthie Hebert or Satu Sabali, but one of the things that Ruthie Hebert did so well that allowed them to have great three-point space is because she would roll hard to the rim in their middle pick-and-roll game, and Sabrina Ionescu knew exactly what to do. If you tagged the roller from the weak side, she threw the ball over there, and Erin Boley hit a corner 3. I mean, that's the way they played last year, and they executed, and they were so good. They don't have that this year. And we talk about Sabrina, but Ruthie's ability to roll hard, get the tag from the weak side would just help. And Sabrina's vision to see it. You know, they just don't have that this year. And they're still searching. You know, when you watch them on film, you know, they've played much better tonight than they did against Arizona the first time because they haven't turned the ball over. But their shot selection in some ways has led to turnover. It's kind of like a turnover.
And kind of like that right there. It's an 11-0 run for Arizona. The scoring drought is over 2.5 minutes for the Ducks. There's really no way to tell, too, Debbie, you know, for the coaching staff, for some of the players that return this year, there's a handful of teams that did not get the closure they were hoping for at the end of last season. They were counting on a national championship, and not having the opportunity to play for that has to be an awfully difficult thing to leave on the deck and try and move forward.
I can't imagine. I mean, everything that they worked for, Sabrina Ionescu's unfinished business coming back, you know, South Carolina, Maryland, NC State, those were, to me, the 4 hottest teams at the end of last year, looking forward to playing in the NCAA tournament. Plus those that may have never had an experience to play, and that was their one shot.
How about this third quarter for the Cats? They've hit 9 of 11 shots.
Well, I love the way they're connected on defense, and they came out of that last timeout, and they have locked it down. I mean, everything is off the bounce, making them move their feet. Oregon not able to catch and shoot, not being able to play in rhythm. They're disjointed, and all of that has to do with Arizona's great defensive effort. Their ball pressure, the way they're connected, and the way they help. Been an outstanding job by Adia Barnes' team so far.
Shooting just 26% are the Ducks here in this third quarter. And what was a 1-point game at the half. Dugalich gets the bucket there, and now the shot clock is off for Arizona. Matisse tried to scoop it up, wouldn't go. Time here, Pow Pow, good if it goes.
Arizona 60, Oregon 46.
Hot third quarter led once again by Kate Reese and a 60-46 lead.
Kate Reese spotted up. Shoot it with...
It's UFC 258, the main card. That's your Saturday lineup for you. What a night for Kate Reese. 23 points, and she triggered a huge third quarter where Arizona outscored Oregon 27-14 and took what was once a 1-point lead and spread it into 14 here to start the fourth. And this is Reese. Off the bounce, goes to the left and lays it in, and she's tied her season high with 25.
Kate Reese, come on, shooting threes, going with the offhand at the rim. I love it. It's a very young team on the floor for Kelly Graves. Is this 5 freshmen?
Kylie Watson is out there. This is Pow Pow. Yeah, Giomi's out there.
I mean, Kelly Graves is
the one that puts it in.
There's no question he is searching a little bit for what is going to be a way that they can play to have success. Looks like Yaney's being taken off the floor.
Yeah, Bendu Yaney, one of the Arizona starters, injured. Goes back towards the locker room a minute into this fourth quarter. And we will take a timeout.
I think the sketchy website I bought this turtle from stole all my info.
Ooh, have you looked on the bright side?
Discover never holds you responsible for unauthorized purchases on your card. That's my turtle.
Fraud protection. Discover something brighter.
Yeah, Arizona with a big third quarter. And now the triple. After Bendu Yaney left the game with an injury. 8th triple for Arizona. And Kelly Graves has gone with a young group out there. You don't see too many of the other starters right now. Perhaps giving the youngsters more of a run here to try and get back in it. Going to be tough to make the comeback, though, when the Cats are shooting 78% from the floor this half. And that's with a quiet night from Ari McDonald so far.
Here's Yaney off the ball. Pow Pow has the ball on the strong side of your on the down part of your screen, and you see she gets popped in the shoulder area, and Adia Barnes calls a timeout, and the trainer administers to her quickly.
Reese with the kick out for another 3. This time it's Sam Thomas.
It's back-to-back triples for the senior. She's 3 for 5 outside the arc.
They have 4 players now in double digits.
Yeah. And McDonald with 11, who is 3rd in the league in scoring right now. It's good balance by Arizona.
Not bad at all, considering it's their first game since January 22nd. Their last 4 have been postponed, including a matchup with UCLA. They have 2 top 10 wins on the resume, Oregon and UCLA from earlier in the season. Their losses to Stanford and Washington State. They will get another crack at the Cardinal. We'll have that for you a couple of Mondays from now in what could decide the conference regular season crown.
You know, we're used to seeing
ESPN is, oh, sorry, Debbie. I was about to say ESPN, the exclusive home for the NCAA tournament. Congratulations. The awards keep rolling in for our ESPN women's basketball guru.
Carol Stiff.
Yeah, Carol
with
Stiff with the
outstanding.
Naismith Outstanding Contributor to Basketball. Excuse me, lost my
Okay,
there for a minute.
water there.
But Carol is responsible for a lot of the covers that you see over, what, the last 25 years or so on the network?
Yeah, the most outstanding contributor. It's a Naismith Award, and it's a very high honor to receive.
This was a one-point game at the half, and Arizona came out ready to roll.
I've been impressed with Arizona's defense, their ball movement. Kate Reese obviously came out and set a tone with her ability to knock down perimeter shots. I thought when Oregon went to their high-low game and they went inside, Sabali had success. She's impressive. I mean, they might have to just build around her and go, okay, we're playing to and through her. She's our target. Every time down the floor, like this. And she just overpowers you at the rim. She's 6'5", she's determined. I like her game a lot.
It's the third foul now on Kate Reese as Sabali, 7 of 10 shooting, will go to the line for just the second time.
She's the only player in double figures for Oregon. We had talked about their balance at the beginning of the game. They had 6 players with 9+ points. I mean, Sabali's 7 for 10. If you can't recognize that as a teammate, that they can't guard her and you can't throw the ball inside, then I don't know how much film Kelly Graves will have to watch with his team to get him to understand it, because that's the key to their season moving forward, I think.
And Adia Barnes wants to take a look at Samaje Smith, one of the big girls, in off the bench in her first touch. And the bucket. Really the only size they have, Debbie, when they play Lauren Ware out there. She's 6'3". But most of the starters on the smaller side.
You know, and the other thing too, Beth, I mean, we're so used to seeing over the last 3 years an Oregon team that moves the ball. They don't shoot it on the first pass. They run the floor hard. You know, because Sabrina Ionescu was dominating the ball. She was going to get it to you if you were open, if you did your job. Right now, I think they're trying to figure out what their jobs are.
Foul. Gets it into the paint, and off the drive to the left, the foul. Kylie Watson, the 6'4" freshman from Linwood, New Jersey, gets a trip to the line. Both sides, by the way, a combined 15 for 15 at the stripe tonight.
Finally, some good free throw shooting in college basketball. I haven't seen much of that this year. See, Ari McDonald checks back in, Beth. She's got 11 points. She's 4 for 13 from the floor. She's only been to the free throw line once. You know, hey, if she has an off night and they can pull off their first win as the senior class since they haven't won since 2011 there. It's impressive.
She's into double digits, by the way, for the 80th consecutive game. That is the longest active streak in college basketball. Good backdoor cut. Alcow couldn't finish it. To the left side, Trinity. Excuse me, that's Pellington off the bounce.
So quick. You know, Adia Barnes can put a very quick athletic lineup on the floor with some rim protection as well. So that allows that defense to really be aggressive. And that's the way they game plan it on the defensive end, and it works. And it's worked really well this year for this team.
I think the sketchy website I bought this turtle from stole all my info.
Ooh. Have you looked on the bright side?
Discover never holds you responsible for unauthorized purchases on your card. That's my turtle.
Fraud protection. Discover something brighter.
Coming up next over on ESPN, don't miss Cade Cunningham at Oklahoma State as they take on the Kansas Jayhawks. Projected #1 pick in the upcoming draft if he goes. And the freshman in the spotlight tonight on ESPN. That's due to start at 9 Eastern. Arizona in control with a big second half. They've shot 75% from the floor. And a trip to the line coming up here for Pellington.
That'll play charge the Ducks. For third foul of the game. Equal number 2 on Oregon.
It's impressive to think that they haven't played in 2 weeks and they show up on this stage on Big Monday and put it to them.
They found out when they landed in Corvallis that their game against Oregon State was postponed. They stayed down, or they stayed in Corvallis, practiced there for a couple of days. Got a shoot around in and a practice last night here in Eugene.
That's the way you do it. A wide open shot that Shelley just doesn't make, but that long rebound leads to a transition opportunity. And Pellington's missed a couple of layups at the rim.
They will have a chance, if all goes well, next week, heading back home to avenge that loss to Washington State.
You know what, Beth? Oregon may have only turned it over 6 times, but like I said before, some of their shot selection has been like a turnover. 35% from the floor for Kelly Graves' team, 21% from the three-point line.
This is twice this year that this Arizona defense has clamped down on the Ducks. Kate Reese, her day may be done, and it was a really good one. Matched her season high, 25 points, 6 rebounds in 30 minutes.
And it took her 14 shots to get those 25 points. She was highly efficient inside. Had 3 triples as well. And Ari McDonald just didn't have a good night. I mean, this is not her night, but Kate Reese had one.
She didn't miss in the second half, 5 for 5. There with the rebound and the ice pack on the shoulder and that right arm in a sling for starter Bendu Yaney. Injured in this second half. Back out courtside to support her teammates. Could be an issue moving forward.
Well, while Ari McDonald did not have a good night shooting the basketball, she certainly did not take a play off on the defensive end, and that's important as a leader for this team. When you don't shoot it well and you don't have your best offensive night, there's other ways you can impact the game.
6 rebounds, 3 assists. And just bothersome on every Oregon shot. Mid-range is good for Baptiste. She's got 13. And there's no quit on the defensive end either. The Ducks are just one of their last 10. Prince gets to the baseline and gets fouled.
I'll try number 34, Monte Smith. 40 in the quarter. Number 11, Mara Mote checks in for Arizona. Taylor Mikesell checks in for the Ducks. And Sedona Prince the line, shooting 2 shots.
Prince, the 6'7" sophomore out of Liberty Hill, Texas.
You know, it's interesting to me, Beth, that Oregon has won the last 3 regular seasons championships in the Pac-12, and you know, Stanford has been at the top of the standings with that 1 loss to Colorado, which was or the 2 losses, excuse me. But you look right there, Arizona's right there with Stanford. UCLA also, Corey Close's team has been outstanding this year. If you haven't seen Charisma Osborne, Michaela Onyenwere gets all the props for being an All-American last year, but I'm telling you, Charisma is having an All-American year for Corey Close.
She's the leading scorer in the Pac-12. Onyenwere is the leading rebounder in the conference.
And then you mentioned Washington State earlier, Beth. Charlize Ledger-Walker. I mean, what a great job Tammy Etheridge has done with Washington State's program, to think that if they can get to the NCAA tournament, and right now Charlie Cream has them in the NCAA. He has 5 Pac-12 teams in the tournament. Washington State would be a 9 seed.
He's got USC and Arizona State on the bubble. They are on the outside looking in. And still so much up in the air with what will happen with conference tournaments, if they're a full go.
And Charlie actually has 4 teams on the next 4 out: Southern Cal, Arizona State, and Oregon State. So still some basketball left to be played here in the next couple of weeks to sort it all out. But certainly Arizona put a stamp on their presence in the Pac-12 with a sweep of what will potentially here, should this hold out. I mean, I think we can call it now. I think Kelly Graves actually, put his younger players in to start the 4th quarter and trying to get some reps and some experience for them.
McDonald will check out as well for Arizona. Well, mission accomplished for them to come up to Eugene and get the win for the first time in 10 years. Maramote. Might drop it off underneath. Head ball will stay with Arizona. They will improve to 12-2, 10-2 in the league as they continue with their best Pac-12 start in 17 years. Ducks will fall to 12-4, 9-4 in the conference.
Special for Adia Barnes. She went to school there. She's the all-time leading scorer, 2nd best rebounder in their history. We asked Mary McDonald today about playing for Adia and what made her go there. And Sam Thomas, they had not had a successful program before then, and they're like, why wouldn't you want to play for somebody who walked in the same shoes that you did at Arizona? And that's the way they feel about Adia. They've got a really tight-knit group. Their chemistry is outstanding tonight. They're connected on the defensive end, and this is going to be one for them to celebrate.
Had the 10-point lead in the first half, lost it. And this was a 1-point game at the half, and they walloped Oregon in that big 3rd quarter. And they're still, this half, shooting better than 64%. Meanwhile, the rebuild and the growth continues for this young Oregon side. They did not shoot it well at all in this second half. Just 4. For 21 in the half. And that'll do it. Arizona, the 20-point win over the Ducks, 79-59 is your final score. And a season-high 25 points for